Welcome to City Weeks. I am your host, Alton West. Today I will have 3 exciting interviews, so you want to make sure you stay tuned for those, and it'll be starting in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I have on from Troup County Prevention Coalition, Brett Wood, and also from Twin Cedars, the Prevention Service Coordinator, Mandy Hill. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, Brett, we're here today to talk a little bit about Troup County Prevention Coalition and some programs that are coming up. But before we get started, I know that the viewing audience perhaps have heard about Troup County Prevention Coalition and probably know a lot about them, but let's just kind of give them an overview of what Troup County Prevention Coalition is.
Sure. Troup County Prevention Coalition is a youth substance abuse grant that we receive from SAMHSA and drug-free communities. And we receive, it's a 5-year grant that we receive $125,000 annually for 5 years to do alcohol and drug prevention activities for community and to youth.
Okay, all right, very good. And Mandy, you're over at Twin Cedars, and I know that there's been some collaboration, some partnering going on. We're going to talk about partners in a moment, but talk about your role over at Twin Cedars there.
Okay, the Prevention Coalition is actually we're the subcontractor that does the programming. So Britt is actually an employee of Twin Cedars, and we facilitate all of the management type things with the coalition. And I've been the Prevention Services Coordinator there for 5 years, so we're excited that the coalition is now joined with us. And I just work side by side with Britt and in the community, and we started doing some stuff in the schools, so we're really excited.
Okay, so 5 years there as a drug-free community. We said we had a grant for the 5-year period of time.
For 5 years, yes, sir.
And what are some of the areas that we cover as far as drug abuse are concerned, Brett?
Well, we cover, our main goal is youth alcohol abuse and prevention. And we also do run the gamut of prescription drug use, marijuana, tobacco, any drug, and the prevention of that underage use in alcohol and tobacco.
Okay, all right. And you know, it's so important. I did the DARE program for 5 years. It's kind of ironic that 5 years here in the school system, and we talked about the harmful effects of drugs and alcohol on the kids and the abuse of that. We understand that, you know, we do need drugs in our society. You guys can probably hear I'm a little nasally here today myself. So we need drugs to help us feel better, but then the abuse of these things can have harmful effects on the body. And talk about some of your partners, if you don't mind, Brett, that partner with you all.
Right, we have many partners in the community. LaGrange Police Department is a big partner of ours. We have the Sheriff's Office that also help us in the community. We have the faith-based community, we have the business community, we have the nonprofit communities. Help me out, Mandy. Who else do we have?
The community health is very involved. District 4 is involved.
School system.
Okay. We actually.
And the alcohol industry is helps us, the distributors in our community. So we have a lot of partners at the table and many community organizations that come and sit around and help us come up with activities. Okay.
Now, and I understand that you all meet over at the Coleman Center. Talk about that and what takes place there too.
We have a meeting. We had one yesterday. It's the 3rd Tuesday at 2 o'clock of each month at the Coleman Community Center. And we really look for our community partners to help us make decisions regarding youth substance abuse prevention. And we welcome anybody to come and add their input and help us just get out in the community and make a difference. Okay,
because it's so important. I know that you all had a meeting down at the LaGrange Police Department, and I found out something that I did not know, even having been on the drug side, you know, kind of teaching, and you all talked about pill parties. Talk about that a little bit for us, Mandy, if you don't mind, before we move on.
Well, they call them pill parties. They call them farm parties, like PHARM, farm for pharmacy. And what it is the kids are taking prescription or over-the-counter drugs to parties, putting them in a bowl or, you know, something, mixing them up, and then taking a few out and taking them and just kind of seeing what happens. So instead of taking just one, they're mixing these drugs, which can be very, very harmful because of all the side effects that are involved. And then at times they are drinking alcohol, and so it's just a very, very bad recipe for something to happen. And so one thing that we're trying to do is educate parents and the youth about the harmful effects of prescription drugs. And the kids think because they are prescription and they're legal that they're not harmful. But what they don't understand is that it's illegal to take someone else's medication, even though it's it's a legal drug. It's still illegal to take it if it's not prescribed to you, which is very dangerous.
Absolutely, and that leads us to our point that we want to talk about here today. We're talking about safe home and safe environments, prescription drug drop-off locations. What do, and I know I have some old medicines in my cabinet at home. How should we discard the old medicines, Brett?
Well, we are sponsoring a prescription drug drop-off, and we're partnering with Corley Drugs and LaGrange Police Department, and we're going to have it Saturday, November 12th, and we're encouraging individuals to come and bring their expired, unused medications that they no longer take, over-the-counter medications, to bring those to Corley so that they're not flushing them and putting them in our sewer system or just throwing them in the trash, which can be which leaves access to other people getting them out of the trash, and it also then goes into our landfill and our water and our soil supply. So we are just offering a safe place, and then the police department will dispose of them properly through incineration.
Okay, it's so important, like you say, not to just flush them down or just discard them in the trash, because nowadays we do have what we call dumpster divers, and they'll go in and kind of fish through, get your personal information, also get your old prescriptions as well.
And we also want to encourage our aging community to be aware that there is a need to dispose of. They have a lot of medications, and to bring those if they can, or send someone with them so it keeps them out of hands of others. Okay,
very good. So that is going to be at Corley Drugs on South Davis Road.
Yes, sir.
Saturday, November the 12th, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Then bring the old discarded medicines and drop them off there. They will be disposed of safely. We'll have to be worrying about somebody bringing them to a party, right?
Right, and that's the scary thing, is that the kids take them right out of the cabinets, because a lot of people don't think to lock them up if you have pain meds or anything that you use for anxiety. Those are dangerous drugs, and so if you do have them, you should lock them up so that it limits the access.
Absolutely, very good. Now, there's also another training that you all have coming up too, Brett, that we want to talk about. TIPS training?
Yes, sir, and that stands for Training and Intervention Procedures, but it actually trains any alcohol retailer who holds an alcohol license in Troup County. We're offering a free training to have them come in and just have more education about selling and serving alcohol responsibly in the community, but especially to underage drinkers. That is going to be Monday, November 14th at the LaGrange Police Department, and myself and an officer for LaGrange Police Department will facilitate the training. It's a great training, and we have lots of fun.
Okay, very good. And this is a free training too?
This is a free training. They receive a TIP certification that can help through insurance premium. It has a lot of benefits to the retailer. So we're offering any seller, server, owner of an alcohol retailer license in the county.
All right, very good. It's so important. I know that a lot of times the police officer have what they call the sting operations, where they'll send in someone of underage to try to purchase alcohol. And it's so important because of the fact that, you're contributing to the delinquency of a minor. First of all, you run the risk of losing your alcohol license, and then you run the risk of perhaps being jailed for a time period. So it's so important. So again, that training, just tell them when that's being held again. Brent?
That's going to be Monday, November 14th at City of LaGrange Police Department on West Harrelson and or on Harrelson Street, and that's free from 9 until 2, and they can contact me if they're interested and get some more information.
Okay, very good. Go ahead and give me your contact information.
My phone number is 706-298-5053, and they can contact me at bwood@twincedars.org.
Okay, well, very good. Well, ladies, I hope that the public will bring out their old medicines and also come by and take full advantage of the training session that will be held on the 14th, and again the drop off on November the 12th. So they kind of close there, so they'll can kind of keep those in mind. 2 very good programs for the community to get involved with, and again, you invite the public to come out to your monthly meetings. And tell them again when those meetings are held.
Those are the 3rd Tuesday of the month at the Coleman Community Center Center at 2 o'clock.
Okay, very good. And I definitely got to get over to another
do.
meeting to see, because I know there's some things coming up
There
next year that we
are.
want to come back and talk about.
There are.
It's going
Yes.
to be exciting for the community as well. But ladies, I want to thank both of you all for coming on and sharing this information with us here today. And it's always a pleasure to sit down with both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have on guest Jennifer Wanless, who is the Vice President for the PTO at Westside Magnet School. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, Jennifer, I know that Westside Magnet School is one of our premier schools. All of our schools, I should say, are premier schools. But I know that Westside Magnet School has a specific area that they focus on. Talk a little bit about those focal things that they look at.
We are a magnet school, which focuses on the arts and music, more on the art and music, obviously the normal school, but we focus a lot on art and music.
Okay, very good. And I know I've gone to the to Westside Magnet School and heard the band play a couple of times.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, they did some theme music for one of the shows that we did some time ago.
Right.
Camille Shelnett's son plays in the band there. And
Yeah.
a couple other people that I know children play there in the band. So it's a great thing that the kids are doing there. And I know that you all have an event that's coming up to try to help the kids, not only just a group of kids, but I understand it's the entire school.
Correct.
To take a trip.
That's right.
You all have an event planned. Talk about the event, Jennifer.
Yes, we have a huge flea market that's going to be happening November the 5th on Saturday from 8 to 12, and it's from 8 to 12 we'll be selling items. West Side will have their own tables for donated items, and then the community has an opportunity, if they want to gather up some of their items and make themselves a little money, they can rent a spot from us, and that also will help with funding for the field trip.
Okay, well, very good. So we're having a field trip. But before we have that, we're going to have the flea market.
Right.
And again, it's going to be on November the 5th. And this is a great time, I guess, the community can come out because it's kind of getting into the shopping season. They can look and perhaps find some Christmas gifts or,
Right.
or other type gifts there. And you said that, people can come out and they can rent tables. Talk about that for us a little bit, Jennifer.
Okay, we have 3 options how the community can help us out with
Okay.
this. One is they can rent a space, 10 by 10 space, and we provide their table for $20 for the day. Or the second option is they can bring their own table, bring their own items, and pay $10. Or if they choose to not do that and want to help the school out, then they can stop by and donate items to the school.
Okay, well, very good. Now, and I know that sometimes people may want to bring bulky items. What type of things are you all looking for?
We're looking for any bigger items are fine. Obviously, they'll sell furniture items or those sort of things. Any sort of thing they have in their home. The only thing that we're asking not to bring is adult clothing. We are taking children and baby clothing. Those are a little easier, but we're not accepting adult clothing.
Okay.
Other than that, we're not taking car seats, children's car seats, just due to some recalls. We just don't want to get into that. But, toy items, any sort of household items, big items, whatever they have at home that they want to donate, that would be great.
Okay, it's kind of cleaning out the closet.
That's right, time to clean out. That's right.
Good time to bring it out, right? And it's for a very good cause. Because now, and you're the vice president now. I don't want to put you on the spot, but approximately how many students are there at Westside? You know?
There's about 400. I don't know the exact, but around 400.
Okay, all right. So the fundraiser is to take the students to the High Museum of Art as
That's
well, is what
right.
I understand.
That's right.
Talk about that, Jennifer.
Yeah, that'll be the end of February, beginning of March. We'll have to have it 2 days. 2 days we're using to do this. And we'll be taking all of the students within those 2 days up to the High Museum. And Picasso's one of the artists that's there that we have been studying and talking about throughout our art classes. So the kids will have an opportunity to go there and see some of the art and be able to even experience the other artists as well.
Oh, very good. You know, I always, whenever somebody mentioned art, I always have to laugh because my son, my oldest son, is a very good artist, and I mean, does an absolutely fantastic job. And I say, I can't even draw a stick man that looks
That's
decent.
me.
You know, so I have much appreciation for an artist, for, you know, the way they think and how they conceive their ideas and put it from mind to paper is just, you know, outstanding. And
Right.
I've been there at the Westside Magnet School and kind of viewed some of the art of some of the
yeah.
kids there as well. And they do an absolutely fantastic job.
They do. They do a great job. Great artist. Great little artist in that school.
Absolutely. You know, I think, you know, again, the kids there are wonderful. They do a great job, and I think that's contributed to the teaching staff and then the support that they get from the PTO, because I know that's such a vital, important part of what they do there is having that support.
Right.
So again, we want to just kind of recap what we're talking about. And let me ask this question, Jennifer. I know that you say that there's ways that people can get involved. We need to talk about where can they drop the items off at. I know we're going to assume, but let's not do that.
Drop it. There will be drop-off dates
Okay.
between October 31st and November the 4th, and you can get this on the website, westsidemagnet.com.
Okay.
That information will be on the website for the times and so forth that you can drop off. If those times are not good, they are accepting throughout from now until then. They're not going to turn someone away to say, well, we can't take it. They'll just go to the front office and say they have some items to drop off. Okay. We have people working to come by and pick that up. If they're interested in renting space or table from us, then they can as well go to the westsidemagnet.com website, and it'll show on there who to contact, which would be myself. Or they can stop by the school, and there's forms there they can fill out for a reserved spot for them. Or they can contact me by email, wandlessj@gmail.com.
Okay, very good. So we have a number of ways they can contact you
Oh,
guys. And just in case someone calls the school and say they want to drop off items, can they do that as well?
They can.
Okay.
They can. They'll
All right.
take it there. We do have a set time that we're, just for organization. We like to have this set time, but they won't turn them away.
Okay.
They'll let them leave it there.
Very good. And there's some, because people will probably put stuff in the car and we'll be thinking, okay, I'm going to drop this off.
Right.
But it won't be the time that you want to be
Right, of
accepted.
course, during school hours. But yes, if they go during the day, school hours, they'll take it at the front
Okay.
office.
All right, well, very good. So again, there's going to be about 400 students that will be going to the High Museum of Art in Atlanta, and they'll be viewing some Picasso artwork, and the fundraising is to raise funds to send the students to the High Museum.
That's right.
All right. Well, we definitely want to make sure that the public comes out and helps with this very worthwhile cause. And I know that you, the vice president and the president and everybody involved, will definitely want to make sure that there's enough items there, so we want to get people to drop them off.
Right, that's right.
Okay. Well, Jennifer, I want to thank you very much for coming on and sharing this information with us. And I know that I may have to come over there and kind of look around too. Hopefully there'll be some
Come
things.
shopping. Come shopping on the 5th.
That's right. All right. Well, Jennifer, thank you very much for coming on and sharing this information with us.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back, City Week, ladies and gentlemen. As it gets time for Toys for Tot, I have on none other than Mr. Bernard Bledsoe of the Marine Corps Lead to talk about Toys for Tot. Bernard, welcome to the show.
Alton, we appreciate you having us back this year. We've been doing this now. This is our 12th year doing Toys for Tots here in LaGrange, and we are delighted to have the opportunity to talk to folks about it.
Well, I think it's a very great cause here in our community, and I know that it's been here in LaGrange, I think, as we were talking earlier, since 2000, I believe it is.
2000 is when we formed our Marine Corps League detachment here in town, and we went down to the Company L, 3rd Battalion, 23rd Marines, which is a Marine Corps Reserve unit in Montgomery, Alabama. And the Toys for Tots program is a program run by the Marine Corps Reserves. And so we work with that unit, and the arrangement we have with them is that they provide us with boxes and posters, and we come up here and conduct a program. We get to keep all the toys that we collect here, and the funds, any funds that are donated go to our distribution agencies. But when we started here, we knew that the United Way had a very, very excellent distribution program, in that they have the Empty Stocking Fund here in LaGrange, the Empty Stocking Fund in Hogansville, and the Salvation Army distributing to children. And we thought that the best service we could provide to our community would be to augment the toys distributed by those agencies and use their screening facilities so that we can try to make sure that our toys go to children who are in fact in need. And we try to work with those agencies to the best of our ability to make sure that we only serve each family one time. The agencies are doing a really good job of coordinating with each other so that all three of them don't serve the same family, and we try to make sure that we get as many children as we can. Last year we were able to help those agencies I just named give something to 1,102 children from 503 families.
Oh my. So,
And that's a pretty good effort that we want to continue this year. And one of the things that folks ought to remember is that they're signing up for recipients now. They have to get an early start.
Okay.
And LaGrange Personal Aid is signing up for people for the Empty Stocking Fund. The Salvation Army is signing up for people going through the Salvation Army. And the Pilot Club over in Hogansville is doing the same thing with recipients in their area.
okay.
So they're all working hard to try to identify the children so that they can get age-appropriate toys for the various children that might be in need this year.
Well, very good. And you know, you said there's a lot of wonderful things there. You're partnering with organizations that already have, you know, plans in place to make sure the distribution gets to those that need it. You know, you served 500 families there with over 1,000 toys last year. And I know that this year we're probably going to, hopefully we can, you know, meet that or exceed it. Talk a little bit about the drop-off location, because I know people are always excited to know where those are going to be held.
Well, we find as many organizations or plants or facilities we can and put boxes in those locations. But there are a lot of folks that just can't quite get to one of those. So you can go by the Chamber of Commerce, we'll have a box there. You can go by any of the city or the county fire stations, we'll have a box at those locations. And you know, the fire departments are really good about looking after the community, and this is another way they tend to serve the community, and they've all been real good about keeping them for us. The police department in LaGrange will have a box in their lobby, and City Hall has always been pretty good about having boxes available. And so we do what we can do to make sure that people have the opportunity to donate a toy.
Okay.
Now, there's something else I'd like to talk to people about. You know, a lot of people are in Sunday school classes, or they're in a bridge class, bridge group, or some other group, and sometimes they draw names at Christmas.
Right.
And you know, it's kind of hard to figure out what you're going to get that's under X dollars. And I gave it to Susie Jane last year, and that kind of thing.
That's
well,
right.
we'd like to help them solve that problem. Several people have over the last few years have asked us for a box. And we bring them a box to one of their meetings, and they just put toys in the box. And instead of giving gifts to each other, they give a toy to Toys for Tots. And if anybody would like to do that this year with their Sunday school class or with their group, whatever the group might be, we'd be happy to work with them. We'd be happy to deliver a box and take their toys and be sure that they're properly distributed.
Well, very good.
You know, we could, if we could do this on Christmas Eve, we could get a world of toys. But you can't get them distributed to the families so that they can give them to their children if you don't do it ahead of time.
Absolutely.
And so we'd like for people to be thinking about the fact that we need to get these toys in by, you know, December 10th, December 15th, so that the groups that are doing the distribution can sort them out and get them to the children in time to have Christmas. So they can't do it on Christmas Eve.
That's right.
They got to get started. We'll have boxes in place around Thanksgiving, and they'll stay in place until about the middle of December. And any toy that we get, we'll try to see that it goes to a worthy child.
Okay.
If you got a minute, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this.
Well,
started,
let me ask one
yeah.
question real quick. Now, we talked about toys. What type? Should it be unwrapped, wrapped toys? We want to make sure we get that point out as well.
The program started in 1947, and from 1947 all the way through 1979, we took used and new toys.
Okay.
But the fact that we want new toys to go to kids, and the fact that we learned more about safety and this kind of thing, in 1980, the program switched over to only new unwrapped toys.
Okay.
And what we'd like to have is a new toy, and we'd like to have unwrapped so that we can sort them appropriately by gender and by age and this sort of thing.
Okay.
So don't bother to wrap them. We would have to unwrap them so we could figure out what they were anyway.
That's right.
And new toys is only what we're doing.
Okay. All right. In closing, as we close, you had one other point you wanted to make to us.
Well, the program started in 1947 with a Marine Corps Reserve unit in Los Angeles, California. And it happened that the commander of that unit was also a PR director for Warner Bros. Studio. So he got Walt Disney Studios to design a little logo that we've been using ever since, our little Toys for Tots train. And so Walt Disney did that for us. And through his connections, he got a lot of people to help us out with Toys for Tots, and we're still using that idea right now. The Marine Corps thought it was such a great idea that since 1948, they've continued to run this. In 1991, they formed a foundation, the Toys for Tots Foundation, which operates under the auspices of the Marine Corps Reserve. And this continues to be a Marine Corps Reserve activity. But since they don't have Marine Corps Reserve units in every location, they get various people to do it. And we're delighted to be working with Company L down in Montgomery. It's an infantry company located down there. Okay. And we appreciate their cooperation and letting us do this in our community so that we can provide a better Christmas for children in need here in the LaGrange, Troup County area.
Well, Bernard, I want to thank you very much. And that, you know, I know that they do a wonderful job here in our community. I want to thank you again for sitting down with me to talk about Toys for Tots for our children here in our community. Thank you very much, and we'll definitely have to get you on again next year to talk about it again for us, all right?
We'll hope we're here, and we'll hope we're having a very successful year this year and next year.
All right, thank you very much, Bernard.
Thank you, Al.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're back for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed those interviews today. My guests have been from Troup County Prevention Coalition, Brett Wood, along with Mandy Hill, as they talked about the disposing of prescription drugs. So we will make sure you keep those in mind and go by and drop those off on November the 12th. Also, I had on from the Westside Magnet School, Jennifer Wandley, who also talked about a fundraising event that is purposed to help the students to go to the High Museum in Atlanta. And lastly, I closed out with Bernard Bledsoe that talked about the upcoming Toys for Tots drive. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you keep all that information in mind and go out and help those organizations to be very successful. I hope that you've enjoyed those interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.